This is a beginner's DIY soldering kit. This particular kit is a light-sensitive Weevil and has a really neat shaped PCB. So let's take a look inside and see what you get. Okay, so as I mentioned, this kit includes this really neat Weevil-shaped PCB. As you can see, the markings are fairly clearly placed on the board, so that should be fairly easy to install the components. And we have a battery holder section on the back of the PCB here. So it's going to be very important that we solder the battery holder last, otherwise we won't be able to get to all these connection points. What other components do we need to install? Well, I've already mentioned we have this battery holder here, and this is a battery holder for our CR2032 coin cell battery, which I have available. We have the two LEDs, and these are the eyes of our Weevil. And then we have this LDR, or light-dependent resistor, or light-sensitive resistor, and this allows it to turn the lights on these eyes on and off. So that'll be a neat little trick for this PCB. And the way it does that is it uses this small transistor here, and it's using this transistor as a switch. Now, to provide connections to the LEDs and to bias that transistor, we need to have a few resistors, and we have some 220s and a 47K resistor, as it says here on the PCB. And we can see these just here. So this is a 220 ohm resistor. And so we can see here we have red, red, black, black with a brown tolerance band. So that's 220 with 0 additional zeros. So 220 with that brown tolerance band. This one here is a 47K resistor, and that will be yellow, purple, black, and red. So 470 with 2 additional zeros. So 47000 for 47K. And that means this last resistor here should be our last 220 ohm resistor. And we should be able to see that there with red, red, black, black with that brown tolerance band. So let's turn our soldering iron on and get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and install our resistors here. And we've already identified our resistors. So this is our 220 ohm resistor. But I'm going to go ahead and double check our calculations with a multimeter. So here's our meter, and what we need to do is set it to the smallest range that's larger than the resistor we're trying to measure. And as we have a 220 ohm resistor, that's larger than 200, and so we're going to need to set it to the 2000 range just here. So let's pop the meter down, and then we can pop our resistor across the probes. And there we go, we can see we've got 206, which is close enough to 220 for me. While we're here, we might as well check our other 220 ohm resistor. And there we go, that's coming up just fine as well. And then we want to measure our 47K resistor. And well, for that, we need to make sure we're choosing a range that's larger than 47K. So we can see here that 20K is too small. We need to go to the 200K range. And we can try this one. And we can see 45.6, which is close enough to 47 for me. So our 220s go in the lower positions here and our 47 in the top. So let's pop that 47 in first. And at the same time, let's pop these ones in as well. So to hold them in place while I'm soldering, I'm just using a piece of blue tack here. So just press that across the top of them. And then I like to go on the underside as well and pull them through just to make sure they're nice and tight against the board. Next, we want to clean the tip. Apply a little bit of solder to the tip here just to improve the thermal transfer. And then place the soldering iron on the pad. Add a little bit of solder to the join. Take the solder away, and then take the soldering iron away. Let's do that again. Touch the pad and the lead. Add some solder. Take the solder away, and take the soldering iron away. And we can do that for each of these joints. Now, I don't usually clean the tip at this point. I just pop it back on the stand, and that keeps the solder on the tip to make sure it doesn't oxidize. And then we can go ahead and double check our work here. I can just dab away to take away any excess blue tack. And we can see these are soldered in quite nicely. And of course, we need to trim the leads off the back. And for that, I'm using some side cutters. Just go in and carefully remove each of these leads. And you want to hold on to them when you clip, otherwise they can go flying around the room. Also a good idea to wear some safety glasses when you are using clippers because of those flying leads. Okay, so those are all installed now. Again, we can mop up any stray blue tack by just using the blue tack here. So let's see what we're going to do next. Well, next up we can go ahead and do this transistor. And so we have a transistor here, and we can see that it has a chamfered side and a rounded side, and that's also matched on the silkscreen on the board. And so what we're going to need to do is match the silkscreen outline to the transistor, and we can just pop this through like so. We can carefully spread the legs as we are popping them through the holes. You can bend them in advance if that helps, which sometimes it does, but you might be able to do, as I've done here, sort of spread them as you're trying to pop the transistor through. And there you go, we can just gently wiggle it through and wiggle it down to a reasonable depth. Don't force it all the way because you might damage the transistor, but that looks like it's far enough down for me. And I'm going to go ahead and hold it in place with a little bit of blue tack just to the side here, make sure it doesn't fall out. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean the tip, apply a little bit of solder just to improve conductivity of the heat. And then I'm going to go ahead and solder the middle leg here. And this gives us the opportunity to inspect our work with that transistor here and make sure it's nice and level and how we'd like it to look. And in this case, that's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do the two side legs as well. I'm going to use my blue tack just to hold the board in place while I'm doing that. So we can look at our solder joints there. They look okay to me. What I need to do now is snip off those excess leads. Next up, I'm going to do this light dependent or LDR resistor. And in this case, what we need to do is just pop it through the board. It doesn't matter which way round this goes. Either way is fine. And that's true for resistors generally. I'm going to pop it slightly proud here because I want to bend it forward just a little bit. You don't have to do that, but I want to do that on my one, just like so. Now, in some of the diagrams, they are perfectly flat. And I've actually seen some people have soldered them on the long leads, but I don't think that's very good because I don't think these little weevils have such long tails. So just going to pop this here, but again, using the blue tack to kind of hold this in the place I want it to be. Now, generally, you would solder these either flat to the board or at the appropriate height. But in this case, as I say, I'm just kind of giving it a little bit of a lean, just so it points backwards away from the eyes. And so that one there, I've snipped a little bit hard, really. Try not to snip it quite so low, a bit uneven there. If you do snip it very low like I've done here, you might go ahead and add a little more solder to make sure that everything is still properly connected. And in fact, some soldering guides will indeed tell you to snip the leads first before soldering. Now that does mean that you don't stress the joints and the pads quite as much, but I think for beginners that's pretty tough to do, so and hold everything in place. So I think doing it with the longer legs is slightly easier. So next up, I'm going to do the LEDs. And these are for the eyes here. And we can see that there is a slightly flattened edge on the LED, just here, and it's the same as with the shorter leg, and that indicates the negative side of the LED, and the longer leg being the positive. Now, we can double check that with a CR2032 coin cell battery, and we see that one side is positive just here. Hopefully you can make out the positive sign, yeah. And if we put the longer leg on the positive side and the shorter leg on the negative side, we see the LED illuminate. We want to make sure we put the positive lead through the left-hand side for both of these eyes here because we have the chamfered or flattened side, the negative side on the right. So let's pop these through. And I'm going to pop my blue tack in between just to hold these. And I'm going to try and make sure they're nice and flush to the board. But to ensure that's the case, I'm actually going to go ahead and solder just one side of the LEDs each. Doesn't matter which side, just one side only. Then I'm going to go ahead and remove the blue tack here. And actually these are pretty flat. But if they hadn't been quite as level, what we could have done, and I'm going to do anyway just here, is I'm going to put my finger on the LED here and push on the LED on the back of the board here while I gently heat up that joint. And actually you'll feel it click as it moves into place. And then make sure you let it cool completely before you let go, otherwise the LED will fall out. And so we can do that again for this second one here. Again, being careful not to burn ourselves. Pushing gently on the LED against the board, reheating the joint, and then letting it cool off again. And that one didn't move at all. That one was perfectly fine. So now they're correctly seated, we can solder the other leg of each LED. Okay, and the last thing we need to do is install the battery holder. Now we've already learned that the center side here, the button side, is the negative and the casing side is the positive on this. And these install face down, like so. And that means that this lower terminal here is negative, and this upper terminal with the lump sticking out is the positive terminal. And if we look carefully on the board, we can see there's a plus sign near the hole at the top here, and a negative sign near this hole at the bottom. And that's because our battery holder goes in that way around. You can see it's marked GND for ground here, and VCC, which is the plus rail of the device. So we need to insert the battery holder this way around, following the silk screen. And I'm just going to use a little bit of blue tack on the side here just to hold that in place. And I'm also going to make sure I push this down very firmly to make sure that lead here goes through the PCB. So the last thing to do then is to install the battery and see if it works. So again, it uses the CR2032 coin cell battery. I didn't get one with my particular kit, but I think you can purchase them with them included. So we pop it in here like so, and you can see we do have Weevil with its two eyes glowing, so that's kind of neat. Now, what I'm going to do next is let's get a torch and see if this will turn off the eyes on the Weevil. And there we go. I can turn the eyes on the Weevil on and off by waving a torch at that sensor, which I think is kind of neat. So I can make it a little bit narrower, and you can see here as I bring it in, it turns the eyes on and off. So I think that's a really nice little circuit. So I think this is a really cute little PCB, and I'm glad I assembled it with you today. I hope you found this video interesting, and I hope to speak to you again soon in the next one.